As part of the Erasmus Plus funded project ELPIS, Artistic Expression, Performance and Social Innovation, the role of the educator for the accessibility of the arts, one of our activities was a series of workshops dedicated to deconstructing and analyzing the conflict in Yugoslavia through drama and theater methodology. This served both as a test for us to try theater, as we received the opportunity to expand our knowledge and test new techniques which we haven't used before and which we will include in our educator's toolkit, and as an innovative educational experience for our young participants. Following the workshops, we showcased the results of our work through a 90-minute play, which gathered an incredibly numerous and warm audience at the Croatian Cultural Center in Rijeka, a veritable cherry on top for both our participants and us at Try Theater. After the participants were selected and loosely informed on the topic, as well as informed that they're going to be preparing a theatrical performance, the first workshop was dedicated to what is an essential part of talking about history or social themes, knowing the data and relevant information. This was done through a mix of tools and techniques that are mostly common in formal education systems. We started with a Q&A session to have a feel of what the participants' starting knowledge is, and then followed with viewing a documentary and group work. The participants were both active and passive, depending on the moment, and could both share their own thoughts and find out new information in an environment that was certainly less formal, but that mimicked their school and university experience.
Mislim da je ovo bio jedan jako dobar uvod, zato što smo dosta toga konkretno objedinili što smo znali svi od prije. Isto tako mislim da je bilo jako fora što upravo zato što smo znali svi nešto od prije smo dosta doprinijeli ili iz medija ili ovako iz naših života, od priča, od obitelji, nonića i tako dalje.
The final period of the workshop was dedicated to guided improvisations based on some elements of the topic that were discussed earlier, giving the participants a taste of what is to come during the following encounters. This was the basic structure of the initial workshops, which focused on understanding different aspects of life in Yugoslavia and the developments that led to its dissolution.
Following the historical introduction, the participants were presented with the dramatic text that was going to be the backbone of their long-term experience. The Six Sisters, a play by Ivan Verunica, is both a family drama and a political allegory of the dissolution of Yugoslavia, and was thus used in a slightly revised form to approach the topic and time period with a creative perspective. Through 3 acts, the text metaphorically covers the events that led to the 1990s and critically examines the relationships between the newly independent countries and between said countries and the rest of the world. By analyzing the scenes and the characters, the participants uncovered new details and references and connected the dots with what they've read and seen at school and during the introductory workshops.
Danas smo dobili tekst i ima jako puno detalja, tako da će nam sigurno trebati vremena da se sve slegne i da dođe na mjesto baš kako treba za zadnji dan, naravno. Ali s moje strane jako mi je zanimljivo vidjeti personifikaciju jugoslovenskih republika na ovaj način. Naravno, treba naglasiti da je to pojednostavljeni dio povijesti, ali ako se ima takav pristup, sigurno je lakše predočiti taj dio povijesti koji je važan za naše krajeve svim ljudima, a naročito mladima.
What followed was a series of workshops during which the participants had the opportunity to try out different characters in different scenes, but also create new dialogues and situations with the metaphorical characters. Throughout the various encounters, new questions arose individually, and answers were collectively found together by the participants and their mentors. While the rehearsals progressed and the new performance was slowly taking shape, a couple of meetings were dedicated to alternative ways of approaching history that are not directly connected to drama and theater. This was done in order to break the routine of the rehearsals, as they tend to get repetitive once the characters are cast, and ensure that the participants keep in mind the main topic of their experience. In this instance, the participants were presented with a series of objects dating from the 1960s to the 1990s in order to establish a concrete connection with the time period that the play shows and allow them to touch history by hand. A discussion ensued on the perception that young people and older generations have on the former Balkan country, which varies from being extremely critical to nostalgic. The discussion was then connected to the expectations that the participants have from their performance. Are arts and theater good media to tackle history? Will the play be able to pique the interest of younger generations, the ones who haven't lived in the time of the piece?
Danas je klas bio nešto drukčiji nego inače, nismo radili na skriptu kao što inače radimo, ali imamo još dosta vremena do izvedbe, brzo će to proći.
Da,
Mislim
da.
I pa bilo je dosta zanimljivo gledati ove malo vintage stvari iz doba Jugoslavije i fora je to što ćemo ih iskoristiti za scenografiju, tako da bit će to zanimljivo za vidjeti.
Other than the objects, the participants also devoted some time to analyze the clothing, makeup, and hairstyles of the time in question, which helped their understanding of the characters and the topic of the play. These different little bits of information and trivia combined into the foundation of what turned out to be a surprising final performance. With only 2 weeks to go to the performance, work on the play intensified. The characters were well developed and understood, the scenes and message of the play under the participants' belts, and the only thing that was missing was the ability to convey that message in a convincing and interesting way to an audience that hasn't had the opportunity to go through the same full educational experience. The theatrical and dramatic process is extremely potent for the performers themselves, but great value can be added to the entire experience by including a strong performance in front of an external audience.
Naturally, theater and drama techniques work best on the people that go through the exercises themselves and that are guided through the process for several months or at least several weeks. However, having a real performance at the end of the entire process is essential for 2 reasons. Firstly, because it lets the participants focus on the play itself and on the performing aspects. That way, the educational part happens spontaneously without having to force it into them. And the second reason is that through a performance and through a play, you can embiggen the pool of people that are influenced by the play itself and then get to learn new things and that perhaps can pique their interest to learn more about the topic of the play.
Ja sam jako uzbuđena za predstavu. Naučili smo tekst, što je super, što nam je zapravo bilo jako bitno da možemo se kretati na pozornici. I već malo osjećamo tremu. Ja mislim da svi mi nas je već malo uhvatila tremica, ali smo jako uzbuđeni. Evo ja prva, baš sam jako uzbuđena. Ali mislim da će to dosta dobro proći jer smo stvarno puno puta prošli, tako da jedva čekam vidjeti ljude koji će nas doći gledat i da napokon stupimo na pozornicu.
Having worked on the play for several months, the stage was set to crown the workshops with a performance.
For the final performance, we decided to hold our play at the Croatian Cultural Center, and we were shocked by the turnout. More than 450 people showed up, intrigued by the opportunity to see a show that unpacked and analyzed a complex historical subject through the eyes of young people.
Večerašnju predstavu možete tumačiti na različite načine, dok je verzija koju upravo gledate pripremljena kao dio Erasmus Plus projekta ELPIS. Naš je cilj kroz rad na ovoj priči bio istražiti sve načine na koje se dramske i kazališne tehnike mogu koristiti za suočavanje sa i analizu društvenih i povijesnih promjena s mladima.
After a long and loud applause, the audience was buzzing and had an extremely positive reaction to the play and the objectives of the project.
Jako lijepa izvedba, jako lijepo, fantastična gluma i moram priznati da sve skupa ovo mi se jako svidjelo.
Svakakve teme se mogu pokazati kroz različite metafore i na neki možda zabavniji način i približiti pogotovo mladim ljudima koji možda ne znaju toliko o toj temi i možda učiniti povijest zanimljivijom.
Mislim, zanima me takve stvari inače, tako da samo dodatan poticaj.
I really liked it. It was very nice. I actually don't know about the history from here. I'm quite new. But it was a kind of new representation of it.
Ja sam jako radosna što sam vidjela puno mladih ljudi, jer na koncu na njima sve ostaje. Ja sam, s obzirom na moju generaciju, uvijek potaknuta na ta pitanja, ali mi je drago da mladi ljudi to isto vide.